Hello Gunpla fans of YouTube, this is DZ Maven here with a bit of a special review today. Today I have the real grade Gundam 00 Riser. This is actually a pretty awesome kit, and I pretty much will enjoy talking to you about this one here. I'm gonna probably have to do this review a little bit differently than the norm here, because there's actually gonna be so much to talk about with this kit here. So I'm going to actually split this review up into two parts, and the first part here I'm going to talk about the 00 Gundam itself and what it basically would come with as the 00 Gundam, and talk about its details, articulation, everything like that. In the second part I will talk about the O Riser and then the combined form of the 00 Riser and all the accessories that come with that form of this Gundam here. And so I figure it's probably going to take a while for me to cover everything, so that's why I kind of split this review up a little bit just to make it a little easier to watch here. But anyway, let's get right down to it here. So here is the 00 Gundam, the real grade version, with some of its accessories laid out here on the spinny mirror thing here for you here. So let me get this going here. Hopefully, there we go. So you can look at it from all angles here. So generally, detail-wise on this kit here, like with most real grades, it has a lot of panel lining, a lot of intricate little parts all over it, lots of good color separation all throughout the kit here. So it does have, I think, actually it may not have two different shades of blue on it, but I think there are two different shades of white on it. I think the blue is only one color on it. Now that I'm looking at it, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's only one shade of blue on it. So it's a slight downgrade in the color separation from the previous real grade kits, but it's not really that big a deal. The red is just one shade of red here, but you do get plenty of these little green GN condensers all throughout the kit here. The shoulder GN drives are pretty nicely molded. I don't know if you can tell there while it's spinning around. There are some little green metallic stickers that are inside the GN drives, so those are pretty nice here. But overall the kit is really nicely detailed, including the accessories are all pretty nicely detailed as well. I think probably the only tiny little gripe when it comes to detail accuracy is probably going to be on these GN Sword 2s here. Everything I've seen has these little clear sensor piece being a blue color, but the ones on the real grade come in a clear. That's kind of colorless, which I think is it's a little disappointing I'd say, but it's not that big a deal. I mean, I tried to put some green behind these lenses there to make them look kind of greenish, but it didn't really turn out very well here. So, but I'd say they look pretty much okay for me. So detail-wise, it does get a 10 out of 10 from me on the detail score. So, like I said, there really isn't anything I can think of to improve on it detail-wise. There's nothing that absolutely needs to be painted for accuracy on it. Like a lot of real grades, it comes with the sticker type decals. There are quite a lot for this kit here, including a few striping ones, but they're mostly on the shield here and a little bit on the left hand side of the 00 Gundam here. They're not that hard to apply though. So and they all look pretty good. I think it's pretty well balanced when it comes to the stickers. So I think it works out pretty good here. So let's stop this and talk about the articulation here. Alright, so put my light a little bit down here. It's a little bright. My lights are really bright today, but anyway. Here is the 00 Gundam. You can see it kind of close up. There's a little bit of shadow on it. Overall articulation is pretty good. It's what you expect from a real grade here. The head has a pretty good range of motion. It can look up pretty nicely, I'd say, and kind of down a little bit. Like what I mentioned with the Exia review here, you do have to kind of be careful, mindful of these little ears on the on this Gundam here, because just like with the Exia, they can fall off pretty easily if you move the head around too much. The internal frame of this kit is the same as the Exia. It just has a few additional parts to kind of make it a little bit more unique to the 00 Gundam. It can still move around. These front vents can move. I think they move a little bit. They're supposed to flex a little bit with the torso, but not. They don't really seem to do so too much on this. And you do get a cockpit in right up in here that opens up. See if I can get it open. It's kind of a tight fit. There's a little hatch here. You have to kind of lift up very carefully right there. And now you can kind of see inside the cockpit there. So, push this back in place. Alright, arms. Arms have a good range of motion, with a slight exception here. You'll probably notice here in a second here. Elbows have a good bend in them, pretty good. The wrist good wrist movement. The arms, they can come up and out, but okay, here's the problem here. You have these GN drives, and they're pretty nice, but they do kind of get in the way of the arms a lot. You can swing it behind it, sort of. You don't. It kind of takes a little bit of work to get them to point backwards. The arm can move up, but again, you're not going to be able to get a full bend of the arm up because it's still, this part of the GN drive is still sitting on top of the shoulder here, so the shoulder's not going to move up. Also, when you're doing this, the shoulder kind of tends to come off too. Also, as you're moving this around, it's a bit loose. Can move forward about that much there, so. Now these GN drives, they can move around a little bit like I've shown you here. They can point forward like so if you want to. And shoulder is kind of getting to be a pain in the butt here. Stay in place. Get back in there. Stay. Okay. Now you can point these up a little more, but you have to kind of unlock them a little bit, and to do that, you have to separate this top portion so that it comes up a little bit, and then they can point up. And if you want to lock them up, you can just kind of press them back together again, and they will stay up. Of course, if you want to move it back down again, you have to kind of unlock it again and point it back down again here. Now, while it's unlocked, you can take the GN drive out. There is a little lock tab right here. Just pull that out, and then you can push the GN drive right out and push the whole thing out. And while I kind of got this out here, stay put. Like you can sort of open this up, kind of like with the Exia, but I don't know if it was meant to do that or not. But you can slide this out a little bit so that it can open up. Focus, camera, focus. So that it can open up kind of like that here. I painted some green inside of there just to kind of highlight it a little better. So you can open it up a little bit if you want to. It's a bit loose when it's like this here, I'd say, but you can do that if you want to. And put this back in. I gotta make sure the bottom is lined up correctly. Down, like so. Down. Lock it back in place. Move on to the back here. There is some movement with this bracket back here, but not a whole lot. It's about that much here. These little nozzles on the back, they will move a little bit, ever so much. Just a little bit like that. That's about it. So moving on down to the waist here, it can go all the way around if you need to, and it can bend forward, bend back. I think I already showed you side to side here. Side skirt armor can come off if you unintentionally, but it will lift up and move around a bit like that here. This front skirt armor is not really a skirt armor, it's kind of like a crotch piece. And it's just kind of on a little joint so that it spins around a little bit. It doesn't really, I mean, you can move up and down just slightly, but it doesn't really make any difference to the leg movement. Now this back here, this big back piece is for the beam sabers. They can move back and forth, up and down a little bit if need be. And the beam sabers here, they can flip up like so for the 00 Gundam to grab the beam sabers out, like so here. So moving on down to the leg here. Leg can go out that way, can go all the way back pretty good. It rotates around like so, and if you want to, it can kind of do the splits here. It's pretty good. Now the knee joint bends like so. pretty good bend out of the leg here. The one piece you gotta watch out for is this little piece right here. That's on the back of the knee joint here. This can sometimes come loose and fall off. I don't think it. No, this one's on here pretty good. This one I think was a little looser for me for some reason. Sometimes these pop off for me. There is like a little flap back here, which I don't really know what purpose this serves. And whoops, that came off. But yeah, there's a little flap right here that I'm not sure what purpose that serves. Alright, as we move on down to the feet here. Feet can move down and toe can come off if you push down on it too hard. Move forward pretty good here, like so. Again, toe came off. Get back on there. There we go. And some side to side movement about that much here and about that far here. This piece I think can move a little bit, but it doesn't really, or maybe it doesn't, no. As you pose this, you probably will notice as you're doing this, I'll probably do it on this side here, this ankle armor can come loose and fall off. This is probably my biggest annoyance with the kit here. If you press down, yep, see, I touched it and it just came apart there, so yeah, so this back ankle armor tends to be a bit loose, so you might want to glue that and maybe even that as well. But yeah, there are some loose parts on this kit that do tend to fall off while you're posing it, so because of that, it gets an articulation score of 8 out of 10. So yeah, there are some things that probably could be improved, and there are some annoyances when you're trying to work with it. Pieces falling off, and the GN drives do tend to kind of get in the way of the arms a lot on this kit, so yeah, 8 out of 10 here. Alright, and the back here, just had to put the 00 Gundam back together here. put it in a pose here real quick for you here. So, okay, I'm going to talk about the extras that the 00 Gundam comes with here. I'm not going to get into the scoring yet for that until the second part here, because there's a lot more stuff that comes with this kit here. But let's talk about the basic stuff here first. You do get those 2 beam sabers on the back of the 00 Gundam, but you do get these 2 more that have the attachment pegs on them. These can fit into the fixed trigger hands. But they don't really fit into the real grade posable hands, so you'll have to use the fixed hands for these here. They do come with some standard pink beam sabers here. They're pretty standard here. Probably the same thing you've seen in other real grade kits here. You do get these little shoulder shields. They will attach to the side of the GN drive just like that here. There's a little slot right there, you can see they plug right into here. Or they can plug into the forearm like so. And they kind of take on the effect of being almost like a punching dagger of some sort here. This blade part will extend out a little bit here. I can't really do it while it's on there. But yeah, it can extend ever so slightly, about that much here. And in addition to that, you can swap this back, move it around a little bit here and move it up like so. There we go, like that, so you get these little pegs on the ends here. And do the same with the other side, the other one here. And you can put these together to form a very, very awkward shield. And the reason this is very, very awkward is because I don't know how stable this is. Kind of press on it, just kind of comes back apart again. And also, it sits extremely high up on the arm of the 00 Gundam, so much so I don't think it would actually be of any tactical use at all, like that. So yeah, this shield kind of sucks here, but I'm not really going to hold it against the kit here because technically that's the way it's supposed to work, so yeah. So, but we do get the 00 Gundams and primary weapons, which are the GN Sword 2s, which are right here. And I really, really like these weapons. They're very nicely detailed, and they just look really good on the kit here. Now these are in the sword mode configuration here, but you can switch them out into the rifle mode pretty easily here. Let me show you that. All you gotta do is take the blade out, switch it like so. You flip this little guard down, and then the handle for the rifle comes down, and that's it. And now you got a GN beam rifle for the 00 Gundam. It's got 2 sets of pegs on here. The bottom peg is for the sword mode, and the upper peg is for the rifle mode. So, and this one is for the right hand, and the other one is obviously going to be for the left hand because it has a peg on that side here. So, and you do get there are some little adapters that will plug these into the side skirts here. Let me see if I can find them here real quick. Yeah, okay. So here is one of those little adapters. They're really tiny parts, so you gotta make sure not to lose them. Let me show you how it works here. Get an arm out of the way here. And the tiny side goes in to this little slot, and I dropped it. Hold on. Anyway, it's in there. It will go in like so, just like that here. Okay, so as you see, it just kind of hooks onto the side skirt, just like so here. Same thing with the other side there. Now, there are a couple other things you can do with the GN Sword 2 here. Let me pull that back off. Now, you do get this piece here, which is a connection bracket for GN swords. So this kind of goes in there. And this one goes just like that. And let me flip this back around so it looks correct. And now you have a big double-ended double GN Sword 2 here. And it's got the little peg on the connector in the middle. That's where you attach it to the fixed pose hand. And now you can pose it around as much as you want. Now the 00 Gundam can hold this pretty well, I'd say. You can do a lot of little neat poses with this here, so that's why it's a pretty good accessory. Now, in addition to that, you can do more. You have these bigger beam effect plate parts that can go on the GN Sword 2s here. You can always put these on without having it in the double configuration, but most of the time I've seen it when it's in this type of configuration here. So they kind of go on like so, and they look really nice here. Same with the other side here. Just kind of put that on there. Just kind of clip on. Alright, so now the double GN sword is now even longer, and I can't kind of hard to get it into the camera shot here, but there it is. It's probably like 3 times as tall as the 00 Gundam is now. So really big weapon here. It barely fits in my little light tent here. You get that. Alright, so besides that, you get your standard assortment of hands. You got your real grade hands. They are okay. I have found that they have gotten a little bit loose over time for me here, so you probably won't be using these that much here, I'd say. You do get the closed fist as well. Comes standard with the pretty much most real grades because they come right on the frame. And you do get these open hands, which are pose hands. They look pretty nice here, I'd say. Pretty good. And the trigger hands are actually on the kit right now. They just kind of come apart. Stick your weapon of choice in them and close them back up again, and they work pretty well. And lastly, your action-based connector for the 00 Gundam. So if you do have an action-based stand, you probably might want to have one for this kit here because it's pretty well deserving of one, I'd say. Alright, so that's going to be it for the 00 Gundam here. So, stay tuned for part 2 where I talk about the O-Riser and all the extras that come with that, along with the combined form of the 00 Riser here. So, I'll see you soon, and be sure to watch that part for the final part of the review here. Alright, bye-bye.